Hey y'all, it's Kelly Jenrette, and you're watching Two Mics Up.
Double O seven.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. It's your man, Dame D, NYDC. And it's another episode of Two Mics Up. And this episode, this is really a very great episode, in my opinion, and it's very powerful. You know, when you are able to sit down with an Emmy-nominated actress, writer, producer, you've seen her in shows like All American, Homecoming, Honor Student, The Handmaid's Tale, Found, and I can just keep going on and on and on and on. That's how dope. I mean, the fire and the energy that's really coming from, today's guest joining me on the other mic. And if you haven't figured it out just yet, I'm going to stop the tease, but I'm going to bring on today's powerful actress. And ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the incredibly talented Kelly Jenrette. Kelly, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for that introduction. I'm just like, oh, okay.
That's right. That's right. Get it. You know what I'm saying? If that's yours, then you got to own it, right? Go ahead and get it. Wear it proud. And like I said, it's an honor to have you here. But when we sit down with every guest, as fans, we see the celebrity side, but you can't really tell a story, Kelly, without starting at the beginning. And
Mhm.
I'm curious to know, who is Kelly Jenrette and what inspired you really to get into the entertainment industry?
Who is Kelly Jenrette?
Mhm.
I say that Kelly Jenrette is a Christian Black girl from Atlanta, Georgia. That is that is in a nutshell, that is Kelly Jenrette. And what inspired me, if you would have let my mom tell it, I came out the womb dramatic. And so I just remember as a little girl it being something that I just enjoyed. I love to write stories. I love to make up stories. My imagination would run wild. I remember I had a blanket, and I think as most children do, and that blanket was many things to me. It was my hair, it was a cape, it was a
Yeah.
baby, and so I think the inspiration was just the imagination, and I wanted to continue to pursue that.
And that's just one of those when you say sensation. I just gotta say, it's just totally sensational. Only because I too remember, as a young kid, like well, I didn't have the head thing, but we had the long johns or whatever, and we used to drape it
Mhm.
around our shoulders like a cape and fly
Yeah,
around, think you Batman, Superman, or whoever it was. So
yeah.
I really resonate with that, the activity of the mind and the things that you really felt that you can do as a child. But it leaves me because I started off at the top of the show just talking about your Emmy nomination and this is really like a two-part question because I really after I thought about it and I went back because I wasn't really sure but I had to go back. Both you and your husband, who's also an actor and a superstar in his own right, you both were nominated the same year, which I
Mhm.
believe was a first. So that one, I got to know how was that like in the household? Like I know we running around high fiving and we doing all kind of things, but what was that energy like? To have that type of respect and honor, laid basically on both of you, just to be thought of and nominated, at the same time. What was that like?
Yeah, that was incredible, unbelievable. We are the first African American married couple to be nominated in the same year, and yes.
Yes, 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 that's
And
right.
he actually he was at work, and I was on the computer because they only announced a limited amount of people who had been nominated. So I went on the computer and saw that I have been nominated amongst such giants as Cicely Tyson and
Mm,
Viola Davis and Cherry Davis, just Samira. Dame Judy Ditch. Like I was amongst these giants, and there was my name, Kelly Jenrette. And so he called me and he said, "Babe, you're an Emmy nominated actress." I said, "I know. Do you know if you've been nominated in your category?" And he said he didn't. So I looked up his category, and sure enough, there was his name. And it was a lot of joy, a lot of speechlessness, a lot of tears. It was just an honor. What I love the most about my marriage is while that was an absolute honor, the marriage still comes first.
I
And so
love that.
things were a little rocky. We ain't going to no red carpet until we get this
I
marriage
know that's right.
thing straight. And so my husband, I say he's never met a red carpet he didn't like, never met a
Mm,
stranger a day in his life. I am definitely more of an introvert when it comes to being out and on the red carpets. It used to give me
yeah,
so much anxiety. And
yeah,
so to be able to go through that process that required interviews and red carpets and all of the things that make me like, ugh, to be able to have someone next to me, um, like my husband, my best
yes,
friend, made
yes,
it so much more enjoyable and bearable.
yeah. I think that that's something that resonates for most people. I even doing this show. First, this show wasn't even my idea; it was my wife's idea. I thought she was
Mhm.
crazy. Um, but look, we've been blessed. We're here 8 seasons, 5 years later. Show is growing. And it's
Yeah,
doing things that I never imagined. But to be able to do it, my wife is again my best friend, my partner.
yeah.
She's the one behind the scenes, actually making this conversation happen and all of these great things. And uh, it really makes it that much more beautiful when you
Mhm.
think about, we've been together almost 30 years. We've been married for 25, and to
Okay.
still find new ways to celebrate and enjoy each other and going through different stages of things that we both
Yeah.
never thought we'd probably be doing. It's amazing, right? And I
Mhm.
love that you say, you and your husband uh, put the marriage first, put God first, in
Yep.
everything that you do. So that's really important. I'm glad you say that because we need to hear that. We
Yeah.
don't hear enough, especially. I'm just going to be honest when it comes to people who look like us, and that
Mhm.
that is a huge message. But Kelly, I want to transition even further. Your nomination specifically as outstanding guest actress, and this was in the Handmaid's Tale, which
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna lie, that show when it first came out, man, my wife was like, well, we was like, whoa, whoa, this right here under his eye, all
Yeah.
this stuff here, man. We was like, whoa, we wasn't quite ready for it, right? But
Mhm.
that was a significant milestone in your career, right? Let's just be honest. And I'm
Yeah.
curious now, looking back, and if you look back, how did this experience maybe influence your career and approach that maybe that how you select roles or you know I know sometimes you can't pick and choose, but when you're actually going out and in your approach now to acting or acting in a role.
You know, I found out that you actually can pick and choose.
Okay, okay,
You
okay,
can.
okay.
And early on in my career, I think I was so very afraid to
Mm,
say no.
mm-hmm,
Thinking like, well, if I say no, the casting director is gonna be mad at me, and then they're not gonna call me back in for anything else.
mm. Got you.
When I don't even think they have the time to stop and think like that. They are
Wow.
getting hundreds of submissions and they're just trying to go through. You said no, okay, great. Let me find somebody else, And so I think as I continued on in my career, understanding every role is not for me. It's just not. And there are
True.
things that I need to say no to so that I can be available to say yes to other things.
Mm,
And I think the Emmy nomination kind of helped solidify me in that position. Um, I I definitely think, as 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 I introduce myself, I am a believer first, and then I am a black woman, and then I
mm,
am somebody's wife, and then I am
mm.
a daughter and a sister. And
Yeah.
so as a believer, everything is filtered through that lens. And
Hmm.
so even the nomination, it's like, okay, God, I thank you. It's still not about me. Now what? What do you want me
Yeah.
to do with
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
nomination? What does it mean? I don't want to puff myself up now that I have this nomination that everybody is like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
this is what you have. And yes, it is great. I take nothing away from that. I think if anything, it just helped me to grind even more. It
Yeah.
gave me a greater appreciation for the business side of show
Hmm.
business, understanding that that plays a huge role
Hmm.
in the success in this industry. So yeah, there were so many so many things that I learned during that time.
Mm.
And even like the positioning of the craft in my life,
Really?
where that plays a part. So yeah, there were a lot of things as I look back and I'm like, man, that was amazing. Because my husband and I were both nominated, it freed up our plus ones.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so my mom, who unfortunately I lost in
Mhm.
January, she passed January
Wow.
27th of this year,
Sorry to hear that.
devastating. But I thank God for the memories that I have. She was able to go with me to the Emmys because my plus one was open because my husband was also nominated. And so I'm always trying to find the God in everything because he knows the end from the beginning.
That's
He
right.
knew that my mom was not going to be here after January 27, 2025. But those little memories,
Yeah.
and granted, I don't know how all the things work, but he uses everything. He never wastes anything. And so even us being nominated together, being
Hmm.
able to open up our plus ones, my mom being able to come and be on the red carpet with me and sit next to me and just
Wow.
have that whole experience. It was amazing.
Mm. I tell you, I mean, look, sometimes when you sit back and you really reflect and open up yourself like to these things that are happening, it is amazing uh, how real and how true God is in our lives. A lot of
Yeah.
times we take these things for granted, and
Hmm.
just listening to that story, you're right. A lot of these things are already preordained and they're already written. It's just how we follow through and how we carry through,
Yeah.
on that mission, right? And
Hmm.
it's beautiful to hear, that all of these wonderful things happen, even though in the loss,
Yeah.
you are still able to have all of these wonderful memories and all of these wonderful things that really help continue to lay your foundation and elevate you, right? As
Hmm.
as you
Yep.
move forward, still in your career, and looking at your career, Kelly, I mean, wow, you've played really a lot of diverse roles, if we're going to be honest, like from
Yeah.
comedy to drama. And
Mhm.
like I wonder sometimes, and I mean, I think about it, just being with friends or whatever. Look, I'm from New York. I think everybody from New York think they're a comedian, think they're funny, whatever. Like I'm just gonna keep it real. But you kind of flip that switch where you go from comedy to drama or being straight laced or whoever you are as a person. But how do you prepare? For your different comedic roles. Like I think Grandfather, we saw you in this comedy, way on one end of the spectrum, and then you're in a very intense role in Manhunt, the Deadly Games. So like,
Mhm.
how do you prepare when you're kind of going from one end to the other, or just preparing for any specific role? Like, is there a process, mindset, or things that you go through once you land a job?
I think for me, my preparation is the same across the board, whether it's comedy or drama. I know that I have to always focus on telling the truth.
Mm,
And whether the character is in a comedy or the character is in a drama. And I often think in a comedy, the character doesn't know that they're in a comedy. They just know that they're in this world and the vehicle so happens to be a comedic
mm,
vehicle. And
gotcha.
so we still have to tell the truth. My sense of humor, someone once said, like, you have a very Tommy Lee Jones type sense of humor. And, very, very dry, very witty, sarcastic. Like that is my sense of humor. And even in the dramatic roles, I think the comedy still has to come in there. And even in the comedy, the
Yeah,
dramatic
man, it
still
has to come.
comes in there. At the heart of it, are you telling the truth? That's what I'm always asking myself. Are you telling the truth of this character in this world, in this moment, relating to these people? And if you're doing that, then you're doing the job.
Mm. I love that. And when you talk about the job, is one of your roles, you appear in All American Homecoming.
Mhm.
You've been, thank the Lord, right? This has been kind of
Yes.
ongoing since 2022, I believe. Um, how has this experience been different from maybe some of your other previous work?
The first one that comes to mind is that we had 3 seasons. And in all of my work out here in TV shows that I've booked and series regulars, I've never been on a show that got 3 seasons, let
Mm.
alone like 2 seasons.
Okay.
Grandfather was 1 season. I
Mhm.
was on the second season of Manhunt Deadly Games. That was an anthology series. Other shows that I was a part of never got a second season. And so to be a part of All American Homecoming and to get that call that we're going into a second season, to get the call about a third season, it was exciting. The showrunner NK, uh, she was amazing, and I was so grateful to be a part of a show where we were seen. It was our story,
Yeah.
and playing that character, Dr. Amara Patterson, um, she was so much like me. She was like my mom, my sister, my aunts, and I got to see all of those incredible women in her, and then portray her in that way. So that whole experience was a huge blessing.
Mm. Look, talk about powerful and moving. You really captivate, and captivate the screen, like in most areas where you show up. Your talent really shines through. But you also, I mean, and this part right here was really one of the highlights that really caught my attention. You do so much more, you know, outside as well, and you are a founding member of a collective that really pours into, our community. The Black community is very
Mhm.
deeply rooted in, and it focuses on our women. I'm just going to call it what it is, but it's powerful. Kelly, can you just kind of tell us and our audience about the organization, and from, your purview, if you will, its importance in the industry today?
Yeah, Black Rebirth Collective is the theater collective. Kimberly Bear, the artistic director, she had this vision. She has been a phenomenal working actress in this industry, and she just got to a place where she realized she wasn't having fun anymore. She didn't enjoy it anymore, and she came to myself and another young lady saying that she had this idea, and we were like, yeah, I'm down with it. And we brought on some more ladies who felt the same way, and Black Rebirth Collective was born. And it is an organization that allows us to play. It brings back the play of it, the fun of it. And so, try some things. You might fail, but it's okay. You got a group of people there that's like, okay, I'll catch you. And as they have caught me through Black Rebirth Collective, Kim asked the question, what is it that you dream to do, that you want to do? And
Mm,
at that time, um, Jeff Stetson has a play called The Meeting. It is an imagined meeting
yeah.
between Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. And I said, I would love to see an imagined meeting between Betty Shabazz and Coretta Scott
Mm,
King. And Kim and Erica Tazzle, who we were meeting together at that time, said, write it.
wow.
And I said, okay. And I began to write this piece about these two iconic women uh, who are oftentimes only referred to as the wives or widows of these two iconic men. And
That's a
I
good point.
wanted to see what would it look like? What would it feel like? What would it sound like to see these two women behind closed doors? In Betty Shabazz's biography, Merle Evers Williams wrote the foreword, and in it she said their relationship went from rivalry to tolerance to genuine affection. And I said, that's amazing.
That's amazing.
That's a play right there.
Yeah.
And so the piece that's simply titled Betty and Coretta follows that journey of the rivalry, tolerance, and genuine affection. Because at the end, Betty's daughters called Coretta auntie.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
right. Yeah.
they became family. And so through Black Rebirth Collective providing that platform and that support and walking with me through that, it gave me the courage to say, yeah, I'm going to do this thing which seems impossible. And that is what the organization is all about, making the impossible possible.
Possible.
Hmm.
Ooh, that's probably. I mean, I'm just sitting here listening, but the hairs on my arms stand. I mean, it is amazing, right? You know, because we're really digging into making things possible for so many others, uh,
Hmm.
who probably never feel or thought that they could ever, reach a platform or reach a level through an opportunity to have
Hmm.
their works be seen or heard. So I think
Yeah.
that's incredible. And two, it covers the entire, diaspora, if you will, uh, when it reaches out, from what I understood and what I've read, and it's very powerful. And I think we need to, and I'm talking to you, audience, get out and get behind it. Go read some more, go find out some more, and become a part of it, because these are the type of things that, for me, here on our platform, are really important. Like I said earlier, we have so many celebrities as fans that we like to follow, and we look at the glitz and glamour, but here we have someone that's an Emmy nominated actress that is actually putting her foot to the pavement and actually putting some actual work in, that we should be proud of and that we should support. So I'm just proud to be able to bring that here to you all today on Two Mics Up. So, get behind Kelly and the Black Rebirth Collective, man. They're doing some great things. But I have to change lanes though, Kelly.
Okay.
You uh have been involved in the entertainment industry for a bit, and I'm curious to know, like, when you look from the time that you started your career, to now, how have things changed? And I want to be specific, like change, particularly in terms of opportunities, for diverse actors, women like yourself, in the industry. Like, how has things changed? Has it been good, bad, or different? For you as a storyteller, because you wear so many different hats. Uh, have you seen a lot of changes, and have you seen more opportunities for men and women who look like you and I in the industry since you started?
To answer your question, good, bad, or you said indifferent?
Yes.
Yes, is yes. Yes to all of them.
Oh, okay.
I remember when I first moved out here and I had an audition. I think it was like Prostitute One or
Okay.
something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It was very much like, yeah, she's on drugs. She's,
Okay. Okay.
um, and not to say that those auditions aren't still out there. I think that they are. However, I will say that I have seen growth in the types of
Okay.
roles, specifically for Black women.
Mm-hmm.
I think we still have a long way
Long
to
way to go.
go. I
Yeah.
loved seeing Tika Sumpter's character in Mixed-ish, and she
Yeah.
and I talked about this, to see this quirky, well-educated Black
Mm-hmm.
woman in this situation was refreshing to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Because we are all the things. We are
That's right.
nerds, we are divas,
Mm.
we are moms, we're daughters, we're all of the things. We're scientists and
Yeah.
astronauts. That's what I loved about Hidden Figures.
Mm.
There are so many faces of Black women that I think we can still explore. And I
Mm-hmm.
will say that I have seen um, a lot of change as far
Yeah.
as the roles that Black women are offered. And as I said, I think we still have a long ways to go. But I think also the responsibility is on us as
Yeah.
well. You know,
Yeah.
if there's a story that's not out there that we want to see, then we may just have to write it. And
That part.
that's what NK did with All American Homecoming. She was like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to create something that my boys can watch and see themselves.
That was
And
in
she
it. Yeah.
did. I
Yeah.
wanted to see a story about Betty and Coretta that I've not seen before. So I wrote it. And so I think we also have to understand we play a part in carrying the torch, and
That's
we
right.
have to carry the torch and create the things that we don't see and not wait for someone else to tell our stories.
Mm. Listen, I couldn't have said it any better myself, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying that because I mean I just looked up at the time. The time flies when you're having a great conversation and you're learning and sharing so much. And Kelly's been a blessing to be here and drop so many gems today. Before you go, Kelly, and before we wrap up, I just want to take a minute. One, what's next for Kelly, and two, please share any of your social media because I want our audience to get out, get behind you, go watch you, go follow you, go support you, and all of the great work and everything that you're doing that you bring to life with your talents every time we see you.
Thank you. What's next? Well, I just got finished shooting an episode of Grey's Anatomy.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited about that. Betty and Coretta, the play, we're in the process of fundraising. It costs money to put things up. And so you can go to blackrebirthcollective.org and donate. We are looking to put that up the fall of 2026. We were going to do it this year, but California went through some things with the
Yeah.
fires and,
Yeah.
and my losing my mom, that just kind of really shifted things back for us. But fall of 2026, we could absolutely use your support and coins for that. Socials on IG and X, I am at Kelly M. Jenrette, Facebook, Kelly Jenrette.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and leave that right there for a second. Go ahead to blackcreative.org. Go
Black
ahead.
Rebirth,
Oh,
Black Rebirth Collective.
we're
Yeah.
going to go ahead now. We're going to listen here. Black Rebirth. I'm going to edit it right here while I'm
Yep. Black
Rebirth.
Rebirth Collective.org.
All right. Yeah, don't worry. I got it. We're gonna leave this one live. We're gonna do this one live on the air. Thank you though. All right. So there we have it. There's the update, and we're gonna leave that there for a second. We want you all, ladies and gentlemen, to go out uh and support. I mean these stories, the work that Kelly's doing. Uh, just get out and support. This is it's huge. It's something that's needed. We're living in a time where so many things are trying to be taken away. So we have to be creative. And like Kelly said, we have to figure out a way to tell our own stories and move the narrative and keep pushing that needle. And this is one way and one opportunity that we all can play a positive part because that's what we do here on Two Mics Up. It's all about positivity. So go ahead and get out and support Kelly. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. It's been another great episode and a great conversation today with Kelly M. Jenrette, Emmy nominated, actress, bomb, bringing you all the hype stuff, all the hot stuff. So continue to check her out. And look, this is season 8, Two Mics Up. We rolling along. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know where to begin. I just want to thank you all for following us, and supporting us each and every week. You can continue to follow Two Mics Up across social media. We are IG, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. 4-time winning talk show. May the Lord continue to keep blessing us. We keep bringing you real talk with dope guests. Hit us up at Two Mics Up across all social media. And drop us a word. We'd like to hear from you. Any comments, anything? We look forward to hearing from you. And ladies and gentlemen, like we do at the end of each and every segment and every show, may you all stay safe, stay blessed. Mike out.
007.